Hey, I'm Rob from JestaThaRogue.com, and you asked for it, so I will, of course, deliver. You wanted more solo plays, so today I'm going to play Marvel United. So let's throw some paint to some overly sinister music, and then come back because you're going to need to know what spoilers there's going to be for any Marvel films. Let's go. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be playing Marvel United twice, solo. The first game is going to be in honour of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because even though it's a month since the film's been out while you're watching this, I only watched it 2 days ago, the days of recording, so I'm still all hyped because I really enjoyed it. So there's going to be no spoilers in the first game, but what I am going to do is I'm going to crack the multiverse open and use different characters from different universes based on film and TV in the first game. So there's going to be no spoilers for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Then we're going to take a little break, then we're going to come back, and then we're going to play basically the plot to sort of the plot to the Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness using characters from the film. So this is the setup. I've gone with locations from X-Men, the X-Men universe. Now normally there is a villain dashboard in the middle. This is all the space I have to work with solo plays, which is why I don't do them very often, but I'll show you how I've fiddled around with it in a minute. Basically these locations create a circle, so these two are not adjacent to each other, it just creates a circle around here. That's all you need to know. And the eagle-eyed among you may have noticed that here is Latveria, and there are some Doombots, because the villain I'm going with for this video is Doctor Doom from the Fantastic Four universe, whichever Doctor Doom from whichever Fantastic Four film you want that to be. Here you can see Doctor Doom's dashboard, which should be in the middle of the board. We'll come back to that later when things on it are needed for the rules. I always teach the rules for solo games as we're playing. I don't front load the video. But for setup on the locations, you can see they have these little faded out images, and you put one of the tokens over the top. You also have threats on here. You also have these threat tokens, on the little threat token locations. You also have these threat cards, which are Doctor Doom's threat cards. You randomly shuffle them and put them on each location. Latveria is special. Latveria doesn't get one. Doctor Doom only has 5. And Doctor Doom always starts in Latveria. And as this video is in honour of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we're going to play with Doctor Strange. He's going to be the first hero. They're going to start in Asteroid M because the heroes always start opposite the villain. So that's the Marvel Universe covered. Next up, we're going to cover either universe you want. This is Ghost Rider, so you can take it from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider, or you can take the Nicolas Cage one, whichever one you prefer him to be. He's going to start there. And then finally, obviously it's difficult because the MCU has their finger in all these different pies, and with Kingpin and Matt Murdock coming into the MCU, we haven't yet seen Jessica Jones, so from the Netflix series, I'm going to put Jessica Jones as the third character. And each of those characters has their own deck of cards, which will be shuffled together, and I will play as all 3 characters, because it's a solo game. You knew that. And we draw a hand of 5 cards. Okay, so as you probably guessed, defeat Doctor Doom and I win, we win. And if Doctor Doom completes one of their several goals for winning the game, or get knocked out, which can happen incredibly quickly. It can actually be done. I've played this solo quite a few times. I've actually done it before I even take a turn, because the bad guy goes first, they've revealed their card, done their thing, killed me in turn 1, which isn't fun. But it's not going to happen in this game because I've rigged the top card to teach you all the rules. The rest of the deck is shuffled though, so let's go with the villain turn. So you turn over a villain card and put it into the storyline. I'll explain the storyline shortly after we've covered all the villain cards. So this is the first villain card, so there are 4 pieces of information. The first one at the top with the little arrow tells you how far they move. So this has got clockwise in 1 space, so you move them clockwise, 1 space, easy. The next piece of information says BAM, so you activate the villain's BAM symbol. And the BAM says deal 1 damage to each hero in Doom's location, plus 1 damage to each hero in a location with any Doom bots. So, as you can see, there is nobody in Doom's location. There are no Doom bots in any locations with any villains, just in Latveria at the moment. And it says, then increase the Doom track by 2. So you increase the Doom track by 2, and it says, when this track reaches 20, the heroes lose. That's something else we've got to look out for. Then the next piece of information on the Doctor Doom card is the special ability. It says, you all fell into my trap. Increase the Doom track by the number of crisis tokens the heroes have. Then one hero takes 1 crisis token. Obviously we've just started, so we don't have any crisis tokens, so we're not going to move the Doom track, but we are going to take 1 now. And I will keep them in the middle of the board, because the way the game works, obviously if we're playing 3-player, it will go to one of either Jessica Jones, Ghost Rider or Doctor Strange player, whoever they are, but because it's just me, we're sort of three personalities in one, a bit Legion in that way. So we're just going to keep all the tokens in the middle of the table so you know how many I've got. Then the final piece of information makes us put thugs, bystanders, and in this case Doombots onto the board. So you start with the left one, which is a thug, and that goes to Dr. Doom's left side. So it's going to go up here, so there's going to be a thug added here. And then a Doombot is going to be placed in Dr. Doom's location, which is there. And then another thug to the location on their right. Now you will notice that there are a limited number of spaces. For example, there's one space left here, there's two spaces left over here. If you can't put any tokens on, you trigger the villain's overflow effect. And the overflow in this case says if you can't place a bystander or a thug or a Doombot to the location, increase the Doom track by 1 for each token you couldn't add. So we need to keep those numbers down so that we don't overflow and increase the Doom track, leading to our inevitable defeat. Okay, it's our turn. So we have 5 cards. You can see we've got 3 for Jessica Jones, 1 from Ghost Rider, 1 from Doctor Strange. We could play any of these cards, and the card belonging to the character we activate is going to be the person who takes the action. Now, interestingly, for Doctor Strange, it's got the Eye of Agamotto. You may take any Master Plan card from the storyline and reshuffle it into the Master Plan deck. If the Master Plan deck runs out, then the villain automatically wins. So putting cards back into his deck is obviously a good thing. It gives us that extra turn to try and defeat them. But Doctor Doom is going to counter this. So Doctor Doom has some special rules. If there are any Doombots in his location, he can't be damaged. Once per turn, a hero can forfeit 1 action to discard one of their crisis tokens, which will allow us to get rid of this bad boy here and stop the Doom trap moving further for when that's activated. And heroes cannot affect the Master Plan deck in any way, so the Eye of Agamotto is not going to be very useful. I've just realised as well the 2 Jessica Jones cards say reveal the top card of the Master Plan deck, which we can't do them either, so that's 3 cards that aren't going to be great. Okay, so what can the heroes do? Well, they can use a fist. A fist deals a damage to somebody in their location. You can damage the thugs to remove them from the board. You can also damage the Doombots. Doombots take 1 damage. That's how you remove Doombots from the board. Sometimes these threat cards are henchmen that have their own life, and you can deal them a damage to remove the damage from their stack. Oh, just so you know as well, Doctor Doom has 7 health, but we can't damage him yet. That's because this arrow lets you move 1 location adjacent, and the star lets you perform heroic feat, which is to put a star on these locations, to these threats, to try and clear them, or you can rescue a bystander. When you rescue a bystander, defeat a thug, or clear a threat, which removes this token, they go onto these cards here. When one of them is full, you remove it and you shuffle them to the right, and it unlocks that first ability. The first ability is the villain acts after every 2 hero cards. So at the moment we play 3 cards, then the villain goes, and we play 3 cards and the villain goes. But once we've got rid of one of those cards, the villain's going to go every 2 hero turns. Once we get rid of 2, the villain is then vulnerable to damage, so we can start dealing damage, try and get rid of those 7 life tokens. And then thirdly, if we do the 3rd threat, which we don't have to do, obviously, because we can kill him before we do the 3rd threat, we draw a card. Each hero draws a card, which means as a solo player, because I've got 3 heroes, I will draw 3 cards. But of course, at the start of your turn, you draw a card. So I've got another card. I've got a Ghost Rider who can now move and punch. Or I can have Ghost Rider who can move and do a heroic feat. What I want to do is get rid of some of these, because these make Doombots supremely powerful and make them more annoying. So this is when a Doombot is defeated in this or adjacent locations, each hero in this location takes a damage. So I need to get rid of this so that when there's Doombots appearing there, as there inevitably will, I don't have the risk of being damaged from defeating them. So I'm going to use this card. It goes into the storyline, meaning it's placed next to the last card played. So for the heroic action, we could put a token on there, so it's a 3rd complete. And then Ghost Rider can move 1 space. I'm going to move him over here so we can start working on this one as well. Then we draw a card at the beginning of a turn. So just to mention as well, under Eye of Agamotto, this symbol is a wild card. It counts for any of the other actions. So I'm going to place the Eye of Agamotto into the timeline, which means you do use your card plus the card of the hero played before you. So now I can move, perform an heroic action, and I get a wild card with Doctor Strange, because he'll get all the Ghost Rider's actions as well. That's the cooperative part of this game. For Ghost Rider's heroic feat, I'm going to put that down. You can play them all in any order as well. For Doctor Strange's wildcard, I'm going to put that, which completes this. Removes that. Which removes this token and goes on this board here. So we just need 3 more to clear this one. And then I've got the option to move, and I'm not going to move because I'm going to use the ability at the end of turn ability. Now we've cleared the threat, we can use the ability of Asteroid M, which is you may deal 1 damage to a thug or henchman in any location. So we can start to look around here and see what we want to get rid of. These two have only got one space left. I'm worried about overflow for these three here. So I'm going to get rid of... I'm going to get rid of this one because Dr. Doom generally, well, most villains generally move clockwise. He's more likely to move onto this space and then trigger it. So I'm going to go there. And because that's defeated the thug, it goes on the board there. Then we draw... Awesome. So we've got one of Jessica Jones' special cards. We've got 2 wild cards on there. There are different difficulty levels. We could take these cards out. I'm not that good. I'm not doing that. I'm going to keep these in. So I'm going to play that to the timeline. And now Jessica Jones has 3 wild card actions, which is always a good thing. So I'm going to 1 to move and 2 to put 2 heroic action tokens on here. So now that's my 3 turns done. Dr. Doom will then draw the next card on his deck and take his turn. And Dr. Doom is going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. But he's got no BAM, so he's not going to do his BAM effect, which is good, because that would have dealt damage, I think. So yeah, it would have dealt 2 damage. It would have dealt 1 to Ghost Rider and 1 to Jessica Jones, which means I would have discarded 2 cards from my hand. And then he's going to lay down 1 bystander here, 2 Doombots here, which fills this location, so we need to clear these off, and 1 bystander there. So now you've got the gist of how the game plays. It sort of repeats this way until something happens. So I'm going to play through the game, skip forward a little bit, and I'll come back when there's something different happening. Okay, I'm just a couple of cards ahead. I've realised I've done something a little bit wrong. So I've cleared this threat, and at the end of a turn it means you can draw a card. Cards in your hand are life. When you take damage, you discard a card to the bottom of your deck. When you run out of cards, we'll lose the game in a solo game. Individual players get knocked out in a co-op game, but I did make a mistake over here. So for the auto-assembly, when adding Doombots in this and adjacent locations, add 1 extra one there. So there should be another Doombot in this location. Fortunately, that's the only one. It hasn't changed anything, and I can continue on. Okay, we're back a short while later. You can see I've rescued a couple of civilians, defeated a few thugs. I've still got those 2 threats cleared. Dr. Doom has taken his turn. And it's a nasty one, so he doesn't move. So he's going to stay on the Muir Island Mutant Research Centre. He's going to BAM, deal 1 damage to each hero in Doom's location, plus 1 damage to each hero in a location with any Doombots. So luckily, there's none. These 2 aren't in locations with Doombots, but Jessica Jones is in a location with Dr. Doom, so we're going to take 1 damage. And I'm going to get rid of this expert detective. It doesn't have to be a Jessica Jones card. It just happens to be matching the person who got damaged. So I'm going to get rid of that, put it on the bottom of the deck. Then we've got the special ability. You'll rule the day you heard the name Victor Von Doom, which means a crisis token goes there. So we've got 2 now. And then we're going to place a Doombot in the location of Dr. Doom and either side. That's it. Just wanted to show you that because we took the first damage. I'll get back to it and I'll come back soon. Shortly. I'll come back. Okay, we're back again. Dr. Doom's next turn and something's happened. Just so you know, I am stacking the cards up in the storyline just because I don't have room to do a full storyline and keep the cards going all the way around the board as you do when you're playing a normal game if you've got more room. Another thing is Dr. Doom has moved 3 and moved to the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning. So he's going to place a bystander there. Now he's going to place a Doom token here, but he needs to place 2 and there isn't room for 2 because there was a threat card there, meaning these needed 2 health each to clear, which I couldn't do, so I couldn't clear them off quick enough. Doom's got there and is overflow effect. So it's not too bad. You just increase the track for each one you couldn't add, which is 1, which means the Doom track increases to 5, which means we're already a quarter of the way through being defeated and he's only played 4 cards, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'll get back to the game. Okay, I'm back again. I forgot to do this ability, which is auto-assembly. When adding Doombot in this and adjacent locations, add 1 extra, which means that was full. I've cleared it off in the last couple of actions. But obviously I should have added 1 more, which means we're going to increase the Doom track by 1 more, so we're up to 6. I do get things right eventually. Okay, coming back for Dr. Doom's next card. I've done some stuff. I've rescued some civilians. I've defeated some thugs. And Dr. Doom's card BAM'd in Jessica Jones's location, which dealt a damage to Jessica Jones and to Ghost Rider, which puts me down to 1 health. And also in Dr. Doom's location, he's turned all the bystanders into Doombot. I mean, I'm trying to rescue bystanders to clear the threat, but I'm not getting there, so we're going to keep going. We are lucky that we've got the Muir Island, which allows us to draw cards. We've got Xavier's Institute for Higher Learning, which means you can draw 3 cards, which I need, because I need another 2 cards back. So I need to try and end a turn there. There's nothing there, though. So I need to do something and then get to that location, because otherwise I'm just wasting a turn, just staying still. I don't have turns to waste. Right, so I can play this Doctor Strange card, and with the Jessica Jones card before it, even though Doctor Doom's played in between, you still take the actions on the hero card, so I can move, perform an heroic feat, and then move again. So I'm going to move over here, rescue this bystander, and then move back, and then my turn and draw 3 cards. Draw up to 3 cards, sorry. These Doctor Doom cards are really killing me. So this was the one that we've just got. Move 4 and bammed, so he dealt damage to Doctor Strange and also to Jessica Jones because he's in the same location as Doombots. So even though I've just drawn up to 3 cards, I went straight back down to 1 card, so it's a good job I made the effort to draw them. And then activated, you fell into my trap, which is increase the Doom trap by the number of crisis tokens the heroes have. And then 1 hero takes a crisis token, so I did have 2. I've now taken a 3rd. He also bammed. He also tried to put a Doombot into here and couldn't because it was full. We put 1 in, and then this one adds a 2nd one, so we couldn't do it. And then obviously tried to put 1 in here and couldn't because it was full. And then this made him put a 2nd one in there and couldn't. So now the Doom track is at 17. I've got 1 health. The Doom track is nearly filled, and I haven't even damaged him yet. I'm not doing very well. Okay, I'm back with some good news for once. We've cleared a couple of the mission cards. So first up, I've rescued enough civilians that I can get rid of that one, which now opens the slot. Although it does mean now that the villain activates after every 2 hero cards instead of 3, which is bad for me, really. But with the very next card, I cleared all the threats, so I can clear that one as well, which means now Doctor Doom is vulnerable to damage. It's his turn now, so let's see how that goes. Draw a Doctor Doom card, and let's see if I actually get a turn to deal him any damage. So he's going to move 4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, which means he's back to Latveria. He's going to bam, which deals 2 damage over here. I luckily have 3 cards in hand. We've got the Eye of Agamotto, which would normally be a good card because it means the top card of the Master Deck is revealed, but we can't mess with the Master Deck. It's one of Doctor Doom's special abilities. And Ghost Rider's card's going to deal damage to thugs. There's only 1 thug on the board, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to keep this 1 Doctor Strange card. Then we're going to increase the Doom trap by the number of crisis tokens the heroes have, which is 3, and I'm on 17. 17 plus 3 is 20. Right, so I made him vulnerable, so we could have damaged him if, you know, I'd got a chance to play any cards. I wasn't so bad at the start of the game, but I had fun losing. I often do play in this game. These ones were the game advances where I've cleared a couple of mission cards. I enjoy. It's the ones where they just bash you from the beginning and you never really get going. That obviously not very fun. But yeah, that was Marvel United. Please like, share and subscribe if you are going to leave now, because the next game I'm going to play is going to contain spoilers for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So if you're staying with me, thank you. If you're leaving, then thank you. I'll see you next time. Okay, so we are back, and yes, I've changed my shirt. Some people will tell you I spilt coffee on my Secret Cabal one. I will tell those people to mind their own business. So basically, it's bad news. I've come back. I've been away for 2 or 3 hours. I've been cleaning a budgie cage, and I've had dinner. I had dinner before I got my hand covered in budgie poop. And I've come back, and my GoPro that I use for the top-down won't turn on. I'm all set up, so if you... Last chance for any spoilers for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I'll show you what I was going to do. So here is the setup. It's going to be New York because the film's mostly set in New York. There's no Sanctum Sanctorum location or Camontage or however you pronounce it. There's none of those. And I was going to play as the bad guy. You can't play Scarlet Witch on her own, but you can play Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So I was going to play Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver versus 3 characters that appear in the film: American Chavez, Mr. Fantastic and Professor X. But it didn't work, so maybe I'll save that next time. Let me know in the comments if you want any more Marvel United solo games, whether you want me to recreate Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, maybe recreate one of the other films. I would love to recreate Infinity War. That would be good. Be very difficult, but it's possible. And yeah, that's it, I'm afraid. Bad news. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Well, I've done a playlist of my solo playthroughs that I've done so far, including a couple that are hidden from public view because they are very early and they're just very early. So thanks for watching. If you got this far, again, sorry. I'll try and do something about it, and hopefully my little GoPro isn't broke. Maybe it just needs a new battery. So I will see you in a couple of weeks for my next video. See you later.